Welcome to Windsor Chronicles, the voice behind the palace walls and beyond, where royal duty meets humanity and image meets action. Today's story isn't about scandal or ceremony, it's about compassion. It's about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, stepping forward not with crowns or titles, but with empathy and purpose. As the Caribbean reels from the catastrophic force of Hurricane Melissa, the Sussexes have once again shown that their focus remains where it matters most, with the people on the ground. Hurricane Melissa tore across the Caribbean like a nightmare. 185-mile-per-hour winds, entire neighborhoods underwater, hospitals and schools destroyed. Jamaica, a country still proudly part of the British Commonwealth, suffered one of the worst natural disasters in its history. And while the world watched the chaos unfold, the response from Britain's royal institutions felt subdued. King Charles issued a brief message of sympathy. The Prince and Princess of Wales, silent. But halfway across the ocean, in California, a different royal rhythm emerged. Through their Archewell Foundation, the Sussexes released a heartfelt message of solidarity, directing aid and attention to Jamaica and neighbouring islands. Their post didn't just express condolences, it provided action, verified donation links, trusted organisations, and words that resonated with warmth and understanding. It was a reminder that empathy isn't about hierarchy, it's about humanity. The Sussexes' statement painted a vivid picture of both devastation and resilience. They wrote of families sharing what little they had, of neighbours clearing debris side by side, and of hope surviving amidst destruction. Their message highlighted heroes too often unseen: volunteers, first responders, aid workers, and organisations like World Central Kitchen, Food for the Poor Jamaica and Walk Good Jamaica. They reminded us that generosity comes in many forms: a dollar, a meal, a shared post, that even from across an ocean, connection matters. And beyond their words, the Sussexes led by example, quietly making their own donations and asking others to join. This wasn't performative philanthropy, it was genuine care. In contrast, the absence of similar outreach from the royal establishment sparked quiet reflection. Here was a nation, once bound to the British crown, crying out for relief. And yet, the institutional response was muted, almost detached. Meanwhile, the couple who stepped away from royal life, who were labelled rebels and outsiders, responded as global citizens, not out of duty, but from conscience. For many in Jamaica, that gesture mattered, because this wasn't about who wears a crown. It was about who shows up when it counts. Before their statement went live, Meghan's As Ever team shared a photo, the Duchess smiling as she arranged a bouquet of flowers. A moment of peace, of beauty, quickly twisted into controversy. Tabloids accused her of insensitivity, claiming poor timing with unrelated royal news about Prince Andrew. The truth? The post had nothing to do with palace politics. It was simply another example of how the Duchess can't breathe without headlines dissecting her intent. But what stands out most isn't the noise. It's the grace that followed. Without comment, the image was removed, and the Sussexes turned attention where it belonged, to the Caribbean crisis. That quiet redirection spoke volumes. For Harry and Meghan, Jamaica holds deep personal meaning. They last visited in 2024, meeting community leaders, youth advocates, and families working toward change. They weren't greeted with ceremony, but with warmth, the kind reserved for those who listen rather than lecture. Their connection to the region has endured beyond visits or photo ops. So when Hurricane Melissa struck, their response wasn't just diplomatic, it was deeply personal. By naming Jamaica in their message, by acknowledging the heartbreak directly, they reminded the world of the humanity behind headlines. In times of crisis, leadership isn't measured by titles or press releases, it's measured by presence. The Sussexes' outreach stood in sharp contrast to the silence from others who might traditionally be expected to lead. It's not about competition, it's about compassion. When Prince Harry and Meghan speak, their words carry authenticity because they come from lived experience, from understanding what it means to be human first, royal second. And that may be why their actions resonate so strongly, because they feel real. As the Caribbean rebuilds, one truth remains: crises reveal character. Hurricane Melissa exposed more than physical damage. It revealed the moral landscape of those who choose to care. In the Sussexes' story, this moment becomes another thread in a legacy of quiet leadership, one defined not by palaces or pageantry, but by purpose. They've faced criticism, exile, and relentless scrutiny. Yet, time and again, they respond with compassion, proof that kindness can outlast scandal. As we close today's episode, consider this: royalty isn't about who's born into privilege. It's about who uses that privilege to uplift others. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have reminded us that empathy doesn't need approval. It just needs action. You've been listening to Windsor Chronicles. Join us next time as we uncover more stories where grace meets legacy and where compassion redefines what it means to be royal. Until then, stay kind, stay curious, and remember, true power lies not in the throne, but in the heart.